to the news on Clear Air FM. The Bank of England executive David Bailey said major lenders remain very actively engaged in climate risk management, despite the exit of giants like HSBC and Barclays from the Net Zero Banking Alliance. Banks and regulators prioritize green targets that often mean centralizing power, imposing costs on ordinary savers and small businesses, and expanding surveillance under the guise of climate virtue signaling. Governments and the travel industry are pushing hard for mobile and digital ID systems to become the norm, whether you board a plane, train, or even a bus. What this means is a future where every transport mode is tied to your digital identity, and where your movements and personal data are logged and analyzed, and your travel choices restricted by a personal carbon allowance. The World Economic Forum is promoting a plan to transform farming using AI, robotics, nanotech, satellites, and genetic editing, claiming these tools will make agriculture smarter and more sustainable. Their new report highlights drone crop spraying, gene-edited rice, and digital insurance schemes in India as model examples. But behind the buzzwords is a gradual shift towards centralized control of food production. What they call innovation looks more like the next phase of digital farming control. The UK's Online Law Safety Act is backfiring badly, driving a surge in VPN use as people move to protect their privacy and access blocked legal content. The law forces websites to verify users' ages before showing harmful material, but millions are instead turning to virtual private networks to stay anonymous and avoid government tracking. VPN downloads have reportedly jumped more than 60% since the online safety law came into force. BlackRock has unveiled a $1 trillion plan at Ripple Swell's conference, claiming the future of global finance will run on blockchain through Ripple's network. The announcement sent a wave of hype through XRP circles, but doubts remain over whether the system can really handle that scale. For now, it looks more like market theater than a genuine $1 trillion shift. The UN has voted to lift sanctions on Syria's new president Ahmed al-Shara, a former al-Qaeda-linked militia leader who once headed the Nusra Front. The move clears the way for his upcoming White House visit, with the US calling it a step toward regional stability. Al-Shara seized power when the West finally got Assad to fall last year, promising reform and counter-terrorism cooperation. But his long record of jihadist ties has raised serious questions over who Washington is now choosing to legitimize on the world stage. There were 14 votes in favor and 1 abstention from China. Western powers say the move reflects progress on counter-terrorism and dismantling chemical weapon sites, while Beijing dismissed the effort as one-sided, solely driven by US aims. A 15-year-old American-Palestinian teen, Mohammed Ibrahim, was arrested by Israeli soldiers in the West Bank early this year and is now facing a possible sentence of up to 20 years for allegedly throwing stones at a moving vehicle. Since his arrest, he has been held in a military prison with no routine visits from his family, has lost nearly a third of his body weight, and is reported to have developed scabies. The US government says it's tracking the case closely, but the young Florida citizen remains in indefinite detention under a legal regime where delays are routine and rights are limited. The Argentine journalism group FAPIA has condemned a court order in Tucumán that places a 6-month gag on TV channels' producers, journalists, and presenters. The ruling forbids them from broadcasting any content that insults or discredits prosecutors, judges, or officials, following a criminal complaint from the provincial attorney general. State regulators are tasked with enforcing the ban across all media platforms, including television, radio, and all digital media. This is another major attack on press freedoms, which we are seeing on every continent. Parliament's official Christmas shop is now open, featuring Big Ben baubles, tea towels, royal mugs, votes for women trinkets, and even Prime Minister Toby jugs. Nothing says festive cheer like paying extra for souvenirs from the same crowd that spent your winter heating budget. Thank you for tuning in to Clear Air FM News. I'm Janita, keeping you informed with today's top stories.